All right, guys and gals, good evening. This is a video I'm going to put out for Chris over at CD Scale Models. He posed the question as how you do a video on how you get started. So here's mine. Real simple story. Hopefully I don't ramble on like I always do. I get long-winded a lot of times. Sorry, my face is not in this, but just my thing. I don't like showing my face, but anyway. The way I got started was when I was a young kid, my mom would buy these presents for me, and then I would immediately, because I had this intuitive mind at a young age, would take them apart because I wanted to see how they were made. So one present in particular, I think it was an Easter present or something, where she bought me this, like a Roy Rogers cap gun. It must have been like 5 years old. And within a week, I had it ripped apart because I couldn't stand it. I wanted to see how it was made. So Mom did that for a couple of years, and then she got frustrated. And then we lived in a very small town. I was born and raised in a little town called Dale, Indiana, which is just next to Santa Claus, Indiana. That's right, there's a Santa Claus, Indiana. But anyway, I was at this drugstore, it's a little tiny drugstore, and I would go in there and I was just mesmerized by these models they would have on the shelf out there. Gone are those days, man. I wish we had these little mom and pop drugstores, but that drugstore is long gone. But you know, I grew up in a NASCAR household. I love race cars, and Dad was a mechanic, and Mom worked in an office, and didn't have a whole lot of money growing up. So I would go to this drugstore, and I would see these models, and Mom, I know she was thinking, well, you tear things apart, now you can build them back up. You can build something back and put it together. So she bought me these snap-tight kits. And man, I was hooked at that point. Couldn't believe like you could take these little pieces of plastic and put them all together to make a car. It was just mesmerizing. And then I wanted a glue kit, and then I got a glue kit, and I remember the very first one I got was molded in blue. It was a monogram. This drugstore, they only had monogram models, and they had Pactra paints. And for those of you who remember Pactra paints, they sucked, but that's all we had. Anyway, I would go in there and look at these models, and it was the very first one was with a monogram Chevy, 53 Chevy, and I can still remember that it had that little chrome insert on the wheel well, the rear wheel well. I love that thing. And I was just so mesmerized by it, but they were always horrible. I'd get glue on my hands, get it all over the model. Didn't know how to take care of myself with the model. You know, I was always reckless, and so on and so forth. So fast forward to, you know, got older in age, and you know, now I started building NASCAR kits because that's, you know, NASCAR is the thing in my household. I grew up in a racing family, so basically I was always at the races during the summer and the weekend. Nashville 420, Indianapolis 500, sprint car races were big in southern Indiana. I was gone to a race every weekend, whether it be NASCAR, sprint cars, or something. And I got hooked at the age of 15 on NASCAR kits. So that was back in the 80s, you know, and they were putting out those kits, and Monogram kind of had it figured out, and I got hooked on them. So then, fast forward to the military. I joined the military. I was in the Air Force. I was a boom operator in the Air Force, and basically wanted to try to build a plane. Well, I could never complete a plane. Came back to it to build a plane, couldn't build one because my interest was not perked. You know, I always loved cars. I didn't necessarily love building airplanes. So got out of it again, then went back and forth. And then basically when I got married, I started building NASCAR kits because NASCAR, I had this shelving system in my basement that I could build NASCAR cars on and put them on there. So here's some of them. You know, Gordon fan because he's from Indiana. You got the Earnhardt car, little Earnhardt's Busch car, and then Tony Stewart, he's from Indiana. Mark Martin grew up racing in Indiana. And then down here, some more. You know, of course, there's Gordon and Darrell Waltrip. We were big Darrell Waltrip fans. So grew up doing that, and then got out of it, you know, again, and then just recently got back into it because of COVID. And that's my story. And I'm a way better builder today than I was back then, of course, because of experience, but I'm more hooked on the hobby today simply because of YouTube. You know, when I started watching YouTube, you know, the contributors that I watched mostly were Dr. Cranky and Paul Turley, and there's a bunch of others, but those two stand out because of how they were focused on helping you. They both were focused on helping you, and the way they taught, it just attracted me to their types of videos. And that's it, man. That's my story. I don't have anything else to add. So I appreciate you watching, and thanks to everybody for the kind comments on my last build. I really appreciate it. You guys are more than gracious with your comments. And I love this community. I love what everybody does for each other in this community. It's different than other communities. Most people compete. These individuals in this community, the people that are big parts of this community, are contributors. They help, they teach, and that helps grow the hobby. So I'm very thankful for that. That's it. I think that's all I have to say tonight. Thanks for watching, you guys. I appreciate it. And as always, this is Terry. I'm out.